Hello, I'm Priscilla Archangel, and my leadership insight for you today is 360 perspective. What do you see? Recently, I opened a book to read with two little family members, and they selected a picture book where they needed to find hidden objects on different themes. Now, in some of the pictures, I was the first to find the hidden object, and I just waited quietly for them to peer at the page and point it out. But at other times, they found it first. And I'll tell you, I was momentarily surprised because, as an adult, I thought, based on my expertise and my perspective, that I would see it first. But it made me realize that we had different views on the picture based on our different frame of reference and the things that we were used to visualizing. Our preconceptions were also different as they pointed out creative objects and ideas in the picture that I would have never noticed. And so it occurred to me that as leaders, we have similar experiences in every aspect of our work lives. Leadership teams often identify issues that need to be addressed in their organizations. However, they tend to identify them based on their perspective of a particular issue that needs to be solved. And their perspective may not always reflect all the views of others who are impacted by the situation. And in doing so, they miss the fullness of the issues and the possibilities for improving them. And it shows up in various ways. One example is team member surveys that are designed to understand the level of engagement in an organization. Now, the answers are only as good as the questions and the level of trust that employees feel in their words being heard. Another example is the difference between the culture described by leaders and the actual culture that employees deal with daily. Leaders may believe they have processes in place to empower employees to speak up about problems and to make changes, but in reality, there's a measure of fear that such actions will derail their careers. In these examples, making a decision based on limited information or a narrow perspective creates significant risk for the organization. It can result in loss of financial resources, employee engagement, customer value, quality, and even technological gaps. There was a recent news article that reported that the wireless emergency alert system designed for federal, state, and local officials to communicate messages about emergency events did not perform as expected. And so some of the people impacted by the recent Lahaina wildfires, Hurricane Hilary in California, and Hurricane Idalia in Florida didn't receive their notifications, and people suffered greater loss as a result. What was viewed as an effective process from the top was experienced very differently by people in the community it was designed to serve. So, how can you ensure you're incorporating a 360 perspective in your programs, your processes, and your problems? First, engage input from all parties, from leaders, managers, team members, customers, suppliers, franchisees, dealers, whatever, to ensure alignment on what you're trying to accomplish. Seemingly simple gaps in communication between these groups can develop into a chasm of missed opportunities. Next, talk with each of the stakeholder groups to understand what they're doing, what they're seeing and experiencing. You'll obviously have pre identified questions, but ensure that they're open ended and leave room to be surprised by their feedback. I think you'll find they can provide a greater breadth of information, more so than you anticipated. Multiple perspectives always add value to understanding, framing, and assessing issues. And only when you engage people at all levels who interact with the situation can you identify the right approach and move forward through the process to resolve it. There was an article in a recent issue of the Harvard Business Review that highlighted a great example of leaders gaining a 360 perspective. Manuel Amorim, the former CEO of Telesp, a telecom in Brazil, purchased one of their new internet products for his home, but he couldn't make it work. And instead of calling his manager responsible for the product, he decided to call the product hotline. And that customer service rep spent 2 hours with him, but they still couldn't resolve the problem. So he invited the representative and his colleagues to present to the executive group the following week to talk about their challenges. Then the CEO tasked the executive group to come up with solutions, which they presented to the customer service reps the following week for support and implementation. A process is always improved when the employees can give voice to their reality. So, ensure you incorporate the perspective of your stakeholders in every aspect of your business. Thanks for listening.